that. I'm John Earl. This is the Damage Report, and we're getting started because we've got way too much to talk about for it to be contained within the bounds of just our show, which will be starting up in about 90 minutes, almost exactly. Brett Ehrlich is going to be joining me as always, so we should have fun. In addition to all of the news, some fun, some serious, we're going to be throwing away our garbage people of the week. So get ready for that. In addition to that, we got a ton of stuff to talk about here on the pre-show too. Yeah, Tim O'Malley, it's crazy. We're going to be showing you the video. Don't worry about that. It's Brett-tastic Friday. Well, yeah, we do like to have older guests on as well. You know, we bring on the millennials, the Rayvanas and stuff like that, but then we also bring on the boomers, the Brett Ehrlichs. Yeah. Anyway, Dankar, glad to have you here for the pre-show. Mom Bear Dragon, how's it going? Okay, everyone. We're gonna do what we normally do, which is start off with a little bit of lighter stuff that I really would have loved to have gotten on the full run of the show, but it's just not time. So, JetBlue, which back when, hey, we got a trespasser here on the pre-show.
I want to say hi. I miss you guys.
How's it going? What are you talking about on the watch list?
What do we have on the watch list today? Man, first off, I saw Johnny online, so I returned these things, these favors. Man, what's on the watch list today? Oh, we have a state senator in, doesn't matter the state, he definitely has some thoughts about Jewish women and their sex lives.
Oh my God, I haven't
apparently
seen
Jewish
that.
women don't get cervical cancer because they only have one sexual partner their whole lives. Because that's true. That's all.
You get 2 or 3 penises in there, and the cervix is like, well, I'm not going to stand for this. Yeah, okay. Well, that'll be exciting. And the watch list, by the way, is coming up in just 29 minutes, actually. Okay, so back when I actually went on flights, back when I flew, back when the world was a sane place, JetBlue was one of the places, one of the airlines that I would sometimes use. That and Spirit, I really knew how to pick them. But anyway, they had one of their pilots get removed from the cockpit of a flight and taken into custody because the blood alcohol level of the pilot, again, a pilot, was 4 times the federal limit for pilots. There are many amazing things about this story. One of them is that there is an allowable amount of alcohol. So it's not that this was 4 times 0. His blood alcohol level was 0.17. They're allowed to have 0.04. And I'm guessing that has to be allowances for things like, what, like mouthwash or something like that. It can't be, that's, a single drink would raise your blood alcohol level more than that, right? It has to be. But anyway, he had apparently had 7 or 8 drinks. I can't imagine flying on a plane after 7 or 8 drinks. I'd be thrown up in the aisle trying to fly a plane. I'm shocked his blood alcohol level wasn't higher than 0.17 at that point. He apparently told police he needed to get his gun from the cockpit while being detained. They can, if certified, carry guns on planes. Again, I get the argument, transporting it and stuff like that, but man, this is an amazing combination for pilots, is bringing the alcohol on, bringing the guns on. Don't we all feel safe flying? It used to be such a routine thing. There was a period when I was doing the traveling show, and I would just fly like every week. Now, you got the risk of drunk pilots, you got the risk of Karen starting fights over masks. A lot of fun all the way around. Peter says, pilots love to be drunk. They get smashed and then they say 12 hours between bottle and throttle. No more planes for me. Oh, God. Do planes have glove compartments for guns? Maybe it's overhead storage, like it's a rifle rack or something like that. Money says, you gotta watch Resident Alien, John. It's so good. So I have not seen Resident Alien, although I was a patron of the Delta Flyers podcast, which is hosted by 2 of the actors who were on Star Trek Voyager back in the day, and one of them directs on Resident Alien and talked about it quite a bit. I will consider it. There's a couple shows that I watched that just came back, like Star Trek Picard is starting up again. Marvelous Miss Maisel is back. I think Russian Doll is coming soon. I think Barry is coming soon. So, I'll see. Let's see. Oh, hold on a second, because this might be fun. Logo says they really have TDS. Biden is compromised. They still can't see it. No, see, here's the thing. I can actually identify and then often talk about the things that influence politicians. What I don't do is just believe anything that I hear on some random white nationalist forum. Biden is certainly being influenced by his donors. He and the vast majority of elected Democrats do what their donors want them to do, not what the voters want to do. What isn't happening is some smoke-filled room with a couple of the top Jewish business leaders or something like that. Like, we can be rational in identifying what is going on and what is influencing our elected officials. Ukrainian doll. Do you think, is it insane to think that Russian doll coming back might be influenced in some way based on what's going on? It has nothing to do with Russia, obviously. Anyway, really do like that show, though. She's good. I hope people watch it. It was one of the shows where it's weird that it didn't get more attention at the time. Like, it seemed very well crafted, interesting developments and mystery and stuff like that. Why wasn't that a big viral hit? Anyway. Okay, so let's get into weird news. I am not 100% sure that this is going to work, but we're going to try. It's the first of several videos. I'm going to whip you around. Let's see that again. Oh, that's rough. Okay, yeah, so Joy Behar apparently fell while entering. I think they implied that she might have actually hurt her head. I don't think that she went to the hospital or anything, but like, falls like that are dangerous in the best of times. And honestly, what you don't know, there's a little bit of behind the scenes information for you. We have, on our studio, we have 2 different desks. And the area near the desks is relatively clear. Much of the rest of the studio has thick bundles of cables on it. And I have come close to face planting so many different times because you kind of have to step on them at a certain point and they move. I am going to, at some point during, you know, like we'll have like a brief break or something like that in the show, and I'll run out to like fill up my coffee, go to the bathroom, something like that. Always terrified. Anyway, hope that she's okay. It's dangerous. I want to show you something that's absolute bananas. I think they might have discussed this on TYT yesterday, but let's go to this now. So we talked a couple of, do you have a foam pit for falls? See, that would be fun. What if you did news in a foam ball pit? So we talked a couple days ago about Kim Kardashian telling a judge that she was experiencing emotional consequences of basically the cyber stalking that was going on, cyber harassment from Kanye West. Thank you, Forbes. That's very nice of you. I want you to take a look at this video that he posted one day ago. Okay, I think you'll be able to make it out. It's a little bit small. I'm gonna zoom in as much as I can. Okay, let's see. It's like stop motion animation, which that's good. I want to see more of that sort of thing. A little bit dark. Looks like a French indie movie. Yeah. So if it's not clear, that is a like grotesque mockery of Pete Davidson that Kanye then sprinkles rose seeds on amidst imagery of him having decapitated heads. So here's the thing. If you're a public figure, and in particular, if you're in a public figure that gets in the orbit of certain people, and I would very much put Kanye West in this orbit, you don't know exactly where that's going to go. If it's, you know, if he's going to tweet about you or something like that. What you do not expect, though, is what looks like fairly expensive, high production value, stop motion animation depictions of your own torture and potentially murder. You definitely, I don't think he knew he was signing up for that when he got involved with Kim Kardashian. Are you, look, I was gonna say, are you allowed to do that? I guess that Celebrity Deathmatch, the stop motion animation thing. I guess they did stuff like that a long time ago. I guess you are legally allowed to do that. But Jesus, can you imagine what you would think when you start getting all the different text messages like, "Hey Pete, have you seen this? Dude needs." Hold on, I'm gonna show you one more little bit of this. Hold on, take a look at this. What is going on? Like, he's basically buried him alive. Needs help. Should have access to it. One would think. Anyway, we're going to turn to something far more serious in just a second. I want to show you a little bit of this video as well. A lot of conversation going on about Resident Alien right now. I like being able to provide a forum for that. I don't often see... There's so many... I tweeted about this a while ago. Have you ever had a show that you love, that you are fascinated by, that you then realize you've never heard anyone mention watching? Like, it's just never come up. Like, here's a random one. And this isn't, like, I'm not citing this because it's, like, one of my favorite shows or anything like that, but we watched the Amazon Prime show, Carnival Row, my wife and I, which is a weird show with Orlando Bloom in a sort of alternate fantasy history London where there's fairies and satyrs and stuff like that. Like, obviously a lot of money went into it. I found it to be pretty interesting. I've never once heard a person say that they watch it. What's that show for you? Something that you got really invested in, perhaps for some time, but have never seen it be acknowledged like by another person. Gorgo watched Carnival Row. Look at that. For Love says, you won't always get arrested for 0.04 blood alcohol level, but if caught driving, but you absolutely can be taken in for driving with it. Yeah. Stars, if you watch Carnival Row, what do you know? Life on Mars, I haven't seen. Look at the Carnival Row love in the audience. Riverdale. Come on, Vicky Gray. Lots of people talk about Riverdale. Falling Sky is interesting. I've heard of it. The 4400 heard of it. Disenchantment. Yeah, I thought when Disenchantment came out that was going to be a much bigger hit, considering, like, the pedigree, you know? The Expanse. I really do need to watch The Expanse. The issue is that my wife was not into it, and I don't generally watch long series that my wife isn't interested in, just because that's when I watch TVs when we're watching it together. I am rereading the beginning of The Expanse. Okay, let's go into more serious news. This is surveillance video from inside Jimtown High School. It depicts a teacher and a student in a hallway. Let's do this. You can see the teacher rounding the corner, trying to catch up to a student there. And I believe the surveillance footage is going to pick up, yes, right around the corner, grabs by the backpack, puts the kid up against the wall, and immediately goes in for a hit, grabbing. He's mid-meltdown. I mean, look, the chasing the kid, okay. Grabbing the kid's backpack, I don't know. But pushing up against the wall, really bad sign. To then immediately, striking a kid in school in the face. Now, I have read that this teacher has now stepped down. Too low of an angle? I apologize. Okay, here, I apologize. Still, see, the thing is, I can't see a preview. So here is the money moment there, the grabbing and the hitting. There, a lot of tough things about being a teacher, obviously, and, here in America, we, for whatever reason, don't give a shit about teachers. I've never understood it. That said, there are a few lines that you shouldn't cross. You are never allowed to hit a kid. This kid was just walking away. Like, it would not be okay if two kids were brawling and a teacher, jumped in and punched one. Obviously, that wouldn't be okay. This kid is literally just walking away. Anyway, I'm going to quickly see if we can get arrested on battery charge as of yesterday. So that is good news. Good face of that. Yeah, what do you expect, man? I don't know. Okay. I want to show you a short video just because it demonstrates a different way you can go on something. So, well, hold on. We might get to it in just a sec. Hold on. Let me just make sure. How many things do we? We've got some time. Okay. So we're gonna be popping into and out of a little bit of additional content about what's going on in Ukraine, and so you know that we've been trying to keep track of the various war crimes being committed, the assassination plots. In fact, we're going to be talking about assassination a little bit later on. Well, I want you to take a look at this. It is again similar to the reporters a couple days ago who were like, you know, we're just really shocked by this because this isn't Afghanistan. This isn't, this isn't that. This is Europe. Like, this is a civilized place. Well, now, what if you apply that sort of approach to the news specifically to discussing certain types of weapons? Okay, so we're going to turn that in 1 sec. First, though, if you haven't already hit the like button, please do that. Takes just a second, lets people know we're live, especially because we're in the middle of like this crisis of notifications. Notifications like seemingly never go out, super intermittent. So when you hit the like button, it potentially helps. And you know what? If we don't get to 1,000 likes, we're not doing the Taiwan story. I'm gonna blackmail you like he wants to blackmail other world powers. Anyway, okay, I'm totally joking, but we're gonna go to this video now, hopefully visible.
There's rumours of a thermobaric bomb, which is a sort of vacuum bomb, which, to be fair, the US has used before in Afghanistan, but the idea of it being used in Europe is stomach churning. And there's
Okay, let's play that one more time.
rumours of a thermobaric bomb, which is a sort of vacuum bomb, which, to be fair, the US has used before in Afghanistan, but the idea of it being used in Europe is stomach churning.
Yes, so discussing one of the sorts of weapons that Russia is using in Ukraine that it should not be using. And that we should not have either. See, isn't that like the only consistent way to approach this? And this can cut across multiple things. So the thermobaric bombs, the vacuum bombs, you can read it. We've actually, I believe, previously broken down how they work on the show. Or cluster munitions, for instance. Or the bombing of civilian areas. Those sorts of things. They are wrong right now. They're also wrong in our conflicts. And it's this, maybe let me know if you think that it's weird that I've been focusing on this, and I think others are too. Super glad to see that people are really invested in this. Like that they're actually paying attention to what's going on in another country, that they are sort of, I think, centering compassion, which isn't a thing that generally happens all that much in American politics. What I am hoping, though, is that across a number of these different areas, they will come out of this issue, this news cycle, changed slightly. Whether it's about whether certain sorts of weapons are okay to be used, whether civilian deaths are actually to be avoided at all costs, whether is it about how we should approach refugee resettlement, how open we should be to that. People's positions on those things have generally been either wrong or, for far more people, it's just not a thing that they focus on. It's not a thing that they center in their politics. So we have this opportunity where we are almost being forced to consider those things on a daily basis. I hope that people come out of it with a different view on things like these weapons, how freely we should be engaging the sorts of conflicts that cause these sorts of situations, whether we should increase the cap on refugees that we bring in. All of these are things that we are way overdue for a little bit of self-reflection, self-analysis, and I think this is providing a great opportunity. And then, of course, in the case of this guy with his comment, like, people come into their discussion of the news with preconceptions, with biases. It happens to everybody. I'm sure it happens to me in many different issue areas. This is not revealing good ones, though. He's not alone in this sort of thing. We've shown you other videos, but not good. Bridget Golden, thank you for the super chat. Although the message was retracted, I still appreciate it. Russians forcing Ukrainian nuke plant workers to operate at gunpoint. Okay. I mean, I assume it is because simply clearing out the workforce could have significant ramifications too. I don't know. Hey, Billy B. Williams, how's it going? One is collateral, the other is straight up killing. Okay, well, look, at least we're talking about it. We're talking about it, right? Okay. Let's jump into some other topics. By the way, NATO has rejected the proposal for a no-fly zone. Again, I am sort of hoping that by the end of this week, we're going to have moved past that as a part of a discussion. And I get that it's difficult, particularly because you have Zelensky calling for it quite often. We're going to show you a video, actually, of a woman in Ukraine who's calling for it, too. The issue is that it is a philosophical distinction between having a no-fly zone and literally just sending in our troops into Ukraine. The end result, it is difficult to imagine it not being the same after a couple of hours. A no-fly zone is not like a beacon that you put down, it creates a bubble and planes can't go in there. A no-fly zone is a policy backed up by a threat that if a plane goes into this territory, we will shoot it down. So, shooting down a plane and sending in troops to blow up tanks. I have a feeling Russia's probably going to see it in through a similar lens. I get it. It sucks. These are complicated things, especially amidst people dying. But if the idea is to not get drawn into a war between NATO and Russia, a no-fly zone seems like the most clear way that we would end up in that situation. And especially in a time when Russia is like constantly threatening nuclear war. And here, I'm not even talking just specifically about needlessly firing at a nuclear reactor. I'm talking about the open threats, the redeployment of forces, the setting up your submarines and things like that on these missions intended to aggravate us. It's a serious threat. We have to take it seriously. So anyway, sort of following on the approach that Joe Biden has had, NATO, largely buttressing that. Counter Otaku says, I'm back. This week I ate plenty of semlor in honor of Shrove Tuesday and bought a whole bunch of them in my workplace. I like them much better than Fastnachts. You should try them. I would need to try them because I'm not actually familiar with what any of that is, but it does sound good. Hey, Billy. Dragon Dane, how's it going? Hey, everybody. Isn't it fun to just hang out? Bridget says, the Netflix series called Dark is creepy and I recommend it. I believe that I watched the first episode or two of it. There have been a number of Netflix sci-fi and fantasy shows that my wife and I have very much bounced off of that just aren't quite for me, I think. Oh my God, I was just reminded of an issue that we need to talk about in 1 minute. Danger Aware Organization says, Danger Aware is a public charity for the prevention of abuse. We have free contests for children from 3 to 18 as well as games and ebooks. Thank you, and I appreciate the super chat there. Putin is sane and completely aware of what he's doing. He's an evil human. Yeah, I throw around the term evil sometimes. Understand when I do it, it is there's no religious context for it. I'm the biggest atheist in the world. Yeah, there are certain stances you can take, certain moves you can make to make it pretty clear you're not a part of the solution. You're not a part of society. A Russian official says the West is trying to cancel us, as they now say in tolerant liberal fascist circles. No, first of all, what is happening is not a canceling of you, and it isn't in the liberal circles that they talk about canceling. It is like 99% on the right. Mom Bear Dragon says, if they cause a meltdown at the power plant, we'll need to go in, right? I don't know. It is. Look, if there's, first of all, the situation seems fine now, so I wouldn't worry about that based on my long experience with the topic. But that said, I would assume that there would be very fast response in terms of the UN, in terms of that. It wouldn't be an invasion or anything. Earth Dragon, keep it. I will. Thank you. Okay, I'm trying to keep up with the chat. There's a lot. Thomas here. Hey, Thomas. Always good to see you here. John is not the biggest atheist in the world. I'm 2 meters tall, bigger than him. Hey, I'm like 2 meters tall. Like, nope. Okay, you're the biggest atheist we know. So really fast. Yesterday on the pre-show, we talked about the Honoring Our Pact Act, I think it's called. And it's about making sure that the VA has mandatory coverage for veterans dealing with a number of different respiratory illnesses and cancers. So that is the thing, by the way, that Joe Biden was talking about during the State of the Union when he was rudely interrupted by Lauren Boebert. Lauren Boebert indicated when she interrupted him that she didn't fundamentally care about that topic. Well, no, she really didn't care about that topic because she voted against it. Support our troops, maybe in terms of tweets, not in terms of medical care, certainly. I thought I would get time to do so. There's a few things that we're gonna have to breeze past. Laura Ingraham is defending Russian oligarchs from asset seizure. She has a big issue with it, with the sanctions, how they're affecting them. Like, they're do more, Biden. Why aren't you doing anything? Why don't do any of those things that you did? Do other things that I'll never define. I want you to do those things. All the things you're doing, I don't like those things. I'm not gonna say what you should do. Anyway, by the way, has an issue with the effect of the sanctions on Russian oligarchs. That was what she said last night. What's the date on this? March 1st, so 3 days ago, she pushed for the US to sanction China. So, sanctions, unacceptable on Russia, put them over on China right now. Okay, Loki says, South Bend Tribune says a teacher has pushed right-wing training points on good students. Oh, jeez, okay, well, we had an issue with the teacher anyway. Okay, now let's jump into the main event, everyone. And by the way, thank you for getting us past 1,000 likes. How nice of you. Here is Bill Barr, one of the top former legal goons for Donald Trump, being asked by, I believe, Lester Holt.
That President Trump was responsible for what happened here ultimately.
I do think he was responsible in the broad sense of that word, and that it appears that part of the plan was to send this group up to the Hill. I think the whole idea was to intimidate Congress, and I think that was wrong.
So, look, it is no longer earth-shattering when Bill Barr does this because he has, for some time, been indicating that he's against Donald Trump on this topic, but he's doing a high-profile NBC News interview about it. Again, it's just like you see these sorts of things, and do you experience the same sort of hope that I do that maybe it'll break through to some on the right? Like, Bill Barr has no influence. You have no power here, but maybe over some on the right. They loved him for literally years. We'll see. We'll see. I do like, there's nothing I want more than for him to be thrown under the bus. So let's jump to our last topic, though, because Donald Trump, who has been oddly silent in one area, which we're going to get to on the show. How's that for a little tease? This is going to be a little bit of fun. He has been going on a lot of TV shows, right-wing news of a variety of different sorts, opining on what's going on in Ukraine. He's been doing this since before the invasion. Generally, the effect has been just so negative, and the issue was that I thought he couldn't get worse. No, he very, very much could. Final light call, just to close this out as we get into this. So, people have been saying that the audio is not good enough right now. I'm going to get some speakers hooked up, so I'm not going to play the video, but Maria Bartiromo asked Donald Trump, do you expect China to invade Taiwan sooner rather than later? His response, I do, because they're seeing how stupid the United States is run. They're seeing that our leaders are incompetent. Of course they're going to do it. This is their time. This is their time. Like, I am mid trying to process which sort of awful, boneheaded, dangerous comment this is from Donald Trump. Is this an intentional one? Is this three-dimensional chess where he goads China to engage in even more explicit brinkmanship with Taiwan, because that then theoretically will buttress the right continually trying to create a Cold War with China? Is that what this is? Or is this one of the things where he starts talking, he doesn't know where he's going, he doesn't know where the destination is, and he just ends up in Crazyville, where he wants to say, John's audio is better when the cameras turn around. I don't know why that would be. Maybe I'll try taking the case off of the phone for the next one. That he wants to criticize our leaders, say that they're incompetent, that they don't know what they're doing. That's the only message he has. He's never specific, and so to do that, he then has to say that a bad thing's going to happen, and related to the question he's being asked, the bad thing would be China attacking Taiwan. Look, the last thing we need right now during this incredibly fraught time, not only with the conflict in Ukraine, but also bear in mind other wars going on, particularly in Yemen, is for there to seem to be an indication to these world powers that some prominent politicians in our country are okay with this sort of thing. We cannot be okay with this. That is an absolute disaster that he's forecasting right there. Anyway, I do have to go. The watch list is coming up. YouTube.com/watchlisttyt, Twitch.tv/tyt. Watch list is starting soon. I'll be on with Brother Ehrlich in an hour. The pre-show is back, so get ready around this time every day. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Thank you, May Money. How nice of you. And I'll be right back in an hour.